This is Naoki Yoshida.
This is Fern Hall.
And you are listening to Aetheryte Radio.
Aetheryte Radio.
Here we go.
Hello and welcome to Aetheryte Radio Gamerscape's Final Fantasy XIV podcast. I'm FusionX. Joining me today, we've got Aldianaux and Xenedra popping open that can, that canned beverage.
It wasn't me.
Oh, okay.
I actually muted my microphone to pop open my can first, and then 2 seconds later,
it was funny because like you got up right before we started. You're like, I'm gonna go grab a drink, and then you decide right till we start to pop the top on it. Nice, very professional. Okay, so obviously no Rook today. She's busy with some other stuff, but hopefully we'll be back next week. IRL stuff, just nothing wrong. She's just doing things. What do you got? Like grape?
Having a good time. Heck
Is it
no.
like
This is blackberry tangerine sparkling water.
Oh, okay.
And my
Fancy.
backup one, which I also popped, is passion fruit.
Mm-hmm. I was gonna say it's definitely not grape. I can tell you that right now.
I'm not a fan of grape.
I didn't think it was, but yeah, I appreciate that I'm not the only one that sometimes has a backup drink. I don't have one today though.
Usually always.
Hopefully I don't need it. So this past week we had Live Letter 59, talking about the new patch Reflections in Crystal. So we are gonna get this on August 11th. We got the new trailer for it. What initial impressions? What did you guys think of the trailer?
What the hell is happening? Like, in the main story, what is happening?
Mm-hmm. I kind of stopped. It was like, oh, if this is up, then the English one's probably up. So I didn't watch the full one to start and just went to look for the English one and couldn't find it. Watched it later, of course.
Yeah. My initial impression was, what is happening? And I can't wait to see it.
Oh, I'm so excited! I'm watching the trailer.
Sapphire with the hair.
Oh, yeah.
I was like, I kind of like this.
All right,
this, like mechanical dreads going on. This is cool.
They have like the totally like mech Gundam-y like theme song music going through that little section.
The pose is directly taken from Double Zeta Gundam.
That doesn't surprise me. That doesn't surprise me. And then
somebody in lore chat earlier today called Zodiac Big Z, and I was like, Sam.
Big Sam.
I'm not sure they got it, but
they I really liked when it's funny because you get to the raid and then they have this music track that plays. Clearly not for the raid, because it's a rock arrangement with vocals of the Amarot theme. And I just completely lost my shit. I was like, wait a minute. We're watching it me and my wife were watching it for the first time. And they played this. And I'm thinking, this sounds a little familiar. And I was like, oh. And I'm like, wait, pause, rewind. Listen to this. Da, da, da. I'm like humming it with it. I'm like, yeah. Like, oh my God. I can't wait. I can't wait to. That's also, I saw on Twitter, Soken had tweeted that that's also sung by... what's the name? Jason Miller, I think. Same guy that did the Shadowbringers main theme.
Okay.
So they brought him back for that.
That's awesome.
I'm totally predicting that's going to be the music for the trial.
Oh yeah.
The trial is likely Ardbertibus and a few warriors of light. If you look at the trailer, a little bit. hey, little bit.
They're both good.
Yeah,
They're both
quite
great.
I'm like, dude, Alidibert. I want an Alidibert like Muppet now. Like, can we make this a thing? Can somebody?
That's definitely where my brain went.
Anybody out there into puppetry? Can we get an Alidibert puppet? I'll do a whole podcast as the Alidibert puppet. If somebody sends me an actual Alidibert puppet.
I'm tempted now. I know how to sew.
That would be great.
Oh my gosh! Musical episode? No. Puppets. That's what we're doing now. Yeah.
Both. Why not? Both?
Ooh.
Avenue
Oh,
Q,
okay. Okay. We'll just All right. Big ideas here. Yeah. Okay. So trailer was awesome. I don't know if there was anything super shocking. Like obviously there's some bits like you see Ardbert like ethereal stabs Gra, right?
Yeah.
Thancred Pat's reading on that.
Yeah,
spoilers. We're well into spoilers for this at this point.
Yeah.
you know, we see Thancred say goodbye to Reed, which has already happened, but the fact that they're doing it again.
Mm-hmm.
Let's shift this a little bit in a different direction. Do you think anybody is going to die in this patch, and who? And if so, who? Let's just get real for a minute.
Sure. I mean, there were so many death flags in that trailer, you know. Groundhog.
I feel like Square Enix likes to whip us around, though. So they're just like, this person's going to die. Just kidding.
They kill Reen, and the next tier of Eden is just, we're just going to make all good decisions now.
I mean, Guy is still there, so no.
No. She would try and bring her back, and then it would all of a sudden be turning Reen into.
I'm gonna try and summon a Reen like we summoned Shiva, and then we're just gonna get this weird Gaia Reen thing, and it's just gonna be terrible. It doesn't work as well as a Lidibert.
Yeah,
a little bit like Bahamut, though.
Yeah, it would be.
Gaia summons like Minfilia or something.
Yeah, I mean, I could see Thancred going. I could see them being done with his arc,
leaving or dying.
Not making it back to the first. Wait, no, the source. Okay. Not making it back to the source. So whether that be him stuck there or sacrificing himself, something.
Yeah, and I think too, like they already in Eden, right? They already had Urianger and Thancred take their leave.
Yeah.
So they would totally surprise us if Thancred stays and comes back. Like I would be like, okay, like you know, sure. But yeah, I think after Tia, obviously, right? He's like probably the big flag. Thancred. I mean, we see him getting kind of like attacked from behind by what I would presume is one of Elidibus's Warriors of Light, as they're watching. And that's the other thing too. So after 5.1, we're like, oh, they're kind of done with Yulmore, right? They're like, we've kind of finalized what was going on over there. But this trailer has them actually at Yulmore. There's another meteor shower, and Amarot is legit rising from the sea. Yeah. Like,
reverse Atlantis.
Yeah.
Right? Yeah, exactly. It's Atlantis, right? It was you know, thinking back to the PAX West panel when they talked about Amarot. They said, you know, in concepts it was called Atlantis. I'm wondering, I think what we're seeing in this trailer, I think this is a legit shower. Versus the one that Elidibert conjured up for us.
Yeah. Because it's seen from everywhere.
Yeah,
you know, it's not just localized.
And you can see too in bits of the dungeon, right? Because this dungeon kind of just goes everywhere. Yeah. It's got the star shower going. You can see the crystal tower in some areas where normally you couldn't. I'm really curious, like, what effect this is going to have, because clearly, like, something is up, right?
Yeah.
So yeah, I'm excited.
Amarot, it's up.
Yeah.
And here's the other thing, right? Is it's not going to stay up, right? It can't. They're not going to take this zone and really suddenly just be like,
yeah.
Well, here's the thing. It's not real. But like something else is like what I want to know why we're seeing Amarot up top, right?
Yeah.
Like what I need to know. I wanted more Amarot. They're giving me more Amarot. They're giving me a rock arrangement of the Amarot music. Like, bring it on, dude. Oh, I can't wait. I'm so hyped for this.
Yeah.
You thought Yoshi P didn't like you. He does.
Yeah, there you go.
I know Yoshi P likes me. It's all good. Yeah. He laughs at me when I fall off the edge on Titan. He sighs when he sees that I'm next for interviews. Yeah, no, he thinks I'm great.
I can confirm that one. But it was a good sigh. It was like, oh man.
The challenge.
Yeah.
Finally non-vague questions from Fox Business News.
This won't be about housing.
Exactly.
Right. And then I ask him about housing, and he's like, son of a... All right. So let's go. Anything else with the trailer before we get into the long list of things that they talked about?
I think it's a Bozja like hint. Because there's a portion where you blow open a gate and the adventurers of the scene are running in, right? I think it's actually some of the Scions? Question mark. And
no.
if you pause that particular scene and you look at the symbol on this very metal building, it is the Garlean symbol.
Right.
Yeah.
And everything that we learned from the live letter about Bozja is that it's gonna be a fighting thing. Well,
Which is
that's
so
vague,
good.
but
Yeah.
it's like an assault thing, right? It's like a war
Yeah.
thing.
Yeah.
So
objectives.
us busting open a Garlean fortress makes sense for it. So that's what
Yeah.
I think that part of the trailer was.
Mhm.
I'm really
If not, I'm into also busting into Garlemald as part of MSQ. That's fine too.
Yeah. I mean, and that's the big question I think that's going to be left at the end of this expansion series is, so are we going to Garlemald, or
Right.
like is it are they going to surprise us in the last leg of this resistance stuff is actually Garlemald? Like what are we doing here?
Mhm.
I don't know. I'll be curious to see what happens. As long as it's not just like some, part of an outdoor zone and is fairly empty like Alamigo was. As long as they
Right.
don't Alamigo it, I think that's okay. All right. So obviously we're going to be getting new MSQ with patch 5.3. We are going to get jumping ahead. There is a mystery trial. Will likely be part of this, as we said before. Might be a little bit. A little bird. I can't. Hey, little bird. I can't not do the voice like when. With the changes that are coming up with the main scenario quests in A Realm Reborn. Remember, we're finally getting that consolidated. That's been a thing for a while. We're also going to be able to fly in ARR zones. So that's I always forget about that when I'm thinking about this patch, and then I see somebody talk about it. I'm like, oh right, yay!
I keep trying to fly. Like we were doing some Blue Mage stuff, and I was like, yeah, and I'll just wait. That's right, in a month. Yes.
Flying here.
Yeah, gotta wait. They will now require the Crystal Tower quest series, as well as the quest My Little Chocobo. Obviously, Crystal Tower with the way Shadowbringers works, that's not surprising. My Little Chocobo, probably just for the flight stuff.
Yeah.
I doubt your Chocobo is gonna suddenly like appear on the first and be like, work, like let's go, like
Yeah.
probably not.
Yeah. It's probably just so that you have a flying mount, like an easy one.
Yeah. We're getting new Beast Tribe quests. I guess not Beast Tribe technically. We're getting dwarves. They're gonna focus on crafting. The problem is all the NPCs for this are inside, and unless you're Lalafell, you can't flag any of them. So Fantasias will go on sale with the launch of 5. I'm kidding. So we'll check that out. They show one of the camps kind of decked out, got some festive banners and stuff. Probably talking about the festival that was
as an
alluded
update
to. Yeah.
We were talking about dwarves, and I was like, you can't get in. And I was joking that, I am in-game married to my girlfriend who plays a Lalafell. And I remembered the other day to try and ring teleport to her.
Yeah,
she was in one of
that's
the
right.
And it just did not allow me. It said, you cannot be in this space. It like zooped me there for a second, and then I was gone back to where I was.
Aww.
And I was like, okay, well,
Nice
you
try.
can't teleport in there.
On behalf of theory crafters everywhere, thank you for your testing.
I was so incredibly disappointed.
Right, that would have been awesome. They thought of it too, unfortunately.
Yes.
New Chronicles of a New Era quest, Sorrow of Warlight. We're obviously getting new weapon stuff. I'm excited for this. We knew a little while ago that it wasn't going to be a trial; it was going to be a solo instance, and we were kind of like, okay, but you get to pilot a weapon, so like that's okay.
Yeah.
All right,
We got
that's cool.
Ironworks weapon. What?
And it's funny too, because I mean we've seen the image of this for a while now, and it didn't even occur to me that it had Ironworks coloring to it. Now that I'm like seeing this in the trailer, I was like, oh, okay, cool.
Such a cool.
And the beam saber. You got a lightsaber, kind of.
Yep.
I love it.
Yep. Yeah.
You're a Gundam.
Yeah.
Almost.
New instance dungeon. We've talked about this a little bit before. The Hero's Gauntlet. Running all around Norvrant. Probably during that meteor shower. Yeah, I can't wait. I think it's gonna.
Why?
Yeah.
Because stuff is going down, Zen.
But specifically.
Yeah. How do we get from place to place? Are we like actively roaming? You know what I mean? Like, how do they get us in between these scenes during the dungeon? Like, is it all in Lakeland /Ilmeg? I couldn't tell.
So the actual description, we talked about this last week. It goes like across Norvrent or spans across Norvrent or something. Was the wording. So we've seen Lakeland, we've seen Ilmeg, we've seen some indoor shots, but that looks like it could be Ilmeg. It's hard to tell. It's one of these quick flashes. It's like, okay, you're inside. There's a window. Maybe. So we don't know all that much
because that's not how this game works.
Right. Yeah. So we don't know. I mean, other than like the architectural designs of like certain areas, right? So yeah, I don't know. I'm really curious to see how this weaves into the MSQ, because of course it is, because that's how dungeons work now. Trust compatible. But yeah, I'm really curious to see what the story is with this and how they weave it in. I don't know what it's gonna be.
Yeah.
Other than something with like the meteor shower or something. I don't know.
I like that though.
Yeah.
I was having this conversation with a friend the other day. She was saying she really liked when they almost spoon fed you what was going to happen next, so that she wasn't overly surprised, because it like made her anxious. And I was like, I'm the opposite. I don't want to have any idea what's going on, so that when they're like, big surprise, I'm like, ah!
Exactly. And some people don't. And I mean, that's why people, we go through these screenshots and we're like, what can that be? I mean, everybody was flipping out about, the boss and her outfit. And I was just looking and I'm like, yeah, that white carbuncle back there. That's cool.
I didn't even notice that before.
Right, exactly. I'm like,
it's like you main summoner or something. I don't know why. So yeah, I'm sure that'll be cool. I'm hoping it does a better job of, we're not at the end of Stormblood, right? We still have got, two main patches left, but, I'm getting the impression from it that this is going to be like a Grimlet Dark, level of importance dungeon, right? You know what I mean?
They did say that, this particular patch was going to be the wrap up of Hydaelyn and Zodiark.
Yeah.
Although they may push that because
it's like I can't remember if they said it was like the patch or the series of patches, or like this point X series
5.3
is the end of it.
Yeah.
I don't remember where that was. Like, I want to go back and look that up, but I do remember that too.
Okay.
I couldn't
sure
remember
it was
where.
a Yoshi P quote, if that helps at all.
Okay, it might have been, so yeah, we'll have to wait and see. I'm excited.
We got to get back. We got to get back to the source within these. Because the 0.4, if it was how we got back, then there would have to be that second half of okay, and then what are you doing next for the expansion?
Yeah, there would be as much time to lead into the next expansion if they did that. So
I don't know.
We'll find out in a couple weeks.
Finally,
Yep. There's
what I kind of like.
Yeah.
What's that?
About everything having being pushed back. Like, I know everybody's kind of upset, but it'll make things in the future a little bit harder to predict. Like, things will still probably come out in the same order, but it won't be like, this always comes out in September. No, it doesn't. That's not a thing anymore for at least a year.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think everything's just gonna shift forever. I think.
Surprise me, Yoshi P. Just surprise me all the time.
The new trials, we talked about that. There will be a normal version and an extreme version against probably Littlebert. We've got the Puppets Bunker for the 24-man raid.
Puppets.
Got some new puppets. Hey. So we got some new images of that sliding around the space station.
So the only thing that I wanted to mention about this is somewhere in the live letter, they mentioned that this boss, it's like a black giant robot with wings that folds out, kind of like a flower. It brought me great joy to hear Yoshi P say, "Yeah, it reminds me of like, the Physalis or this from F91 Gundam." And I went, "You guys really like Gundam? We're gonna see more of it, thank you." Because it is very reminiscent of that mobile suit from that show. So
the whole they sit down, they're like, all right, let's plan out an expansion. Yoshi's like, I've been on a Gundam kick lately. What can we do to add robots?
He's been binging it because he's stuck at home. Well, he's not. He's stuck in the office, but still, he's been binging it while he's been working, and now we're going to see all this Gundam stuff.
There you go.
That's
I mean, that makes sense.
hypothesis.
Yeah.
How disappointed were you guys to see those outfits? You're like, we don't care about glamour. Come on.
I mean, I wouldn't know the difference because I haven't played it. I was
Okay.
like, okay, it's kind of that chic, kind of fashion forward, high fashion, but very, very sleek. And I'm like, okay, that's cool. I like the look of it.
It's very similar.
Yeah.
Very similar to the previous ones. There is a picture of a Lady Row in the more male, quote unquote, looking outfit. So maybe there be a little bit of crossover in as far as that, but other than that, they sure do look almost exactly the same.
It's weird, right? Because I mean, let's not beat around the bush. Like, this is what people want, right? Like, they want Nier clothing. This is Nier clothing. It may not look drastically different from the last set of Nier clothing, but maybe it's just different enough to make people happy. I don't know.
I hope so for their sakes, but it's too similar for me.
Yeah, I'm just frankly, I don't know anything about Nier. So like, those are the outfits that I know, and I'm like, okay, that's kind of similar to it. That's probably what they wear.
That's what it's for. It's for the people that don't know Nier. They can look at that and be like, yeah, that's
right. That's all I could.
Well, I don't know Nier either, and I'm like, this looks the same as last time.
I just assume they're robots or something, right? So yeah, they all whatever.
We also got again Unreal Trials and Fox Hollows coming up. I'm reserving judgment, but I feel like I'm gonna be kind of on Unreal Trials when it comes out. The idea of limited event content is just it bugs me so much. Maybe we'll talk about that. I think it'd be more fair. Like, I've had the idea of talking about it, but I think it's probably more fair to wait until after it comes out to try and hate on it. But
just to see what they think that limited time should mean, what you should get from it, how long limited time means, all of that. Once we get through the first one,
why they're doing it, like, what is the purpose? What do they hope to impart upon the community?
I wonder if they're testing response to making older content more relevant. I mean, that's something we've talked about a bunch of times, is the idea of scalable dungeons or stuff like that. And maybe this is them slowly starting to work on a system for that, and they're testing it out to see how that's gonna go. I don't know.
That's less what I'm wondering about, though, and more the whole limited thing. Like, why specifically make it limited? Why not leave it in like literally everything else?
That part bugs me, and it's funny too, because I'm a player, not a developer. But from a developer standpoint, that bugs me, right? Like, okay, we're going to put time and effort into this thing, but it's only going to be around for a certain amount of time. Why are we wasting the resources on this if it's finite in its duration? Like,
maybe it does loop back around to what you're saying. Like, the fact that you can't always do it makes it more relevant at the time, right? So it does sort of keep the content relevant.
Well, it's FOMO. I mean, that's what it is. It's just FOMO. And I hate that. I absolutely hate that. I mean, that's one of the reasons right now. Like, if I don't have the time to commit to like something like Destiny 2, I just don't play it for most of the season, because it's just like I jump in halfway through and I'm like, okay, I missed all this stuff. I have no idea what's going on now. And that's, I mean, it works for some games. Don't get me wrong. Like, the majority of players are fine with that kind of model. I am not crazy about it.
There's also the idea that if you have this content here at this time, everybody will dive into that, and then anybody who misses it has to wait till it comes back again. But since you can't do it in between those two spaces, there are people over time going, oh, I want to do that, I want to do that, and it's building up the amount of people. So instead of one person at some point being like, hey, can 7 people help me, they have to wait, and then at that point 7 other people probably have decided they want to do it also. Which
building hype for it, like, that's sure. I don't know if this is a development team that understands how that works fully, because keep in mind the first one we're getting is Shiva. They're like, oh, people might be interested in Shiva after Eden. I'm like, they're not gonna want to fight another Shiva. Like that's like it's like hey, check it out, we have Shiva. You want to fight a different Shiva? No.
To be fair, I would like to kick Shiva's ass again in a different way.
Okay.
See, I really
also in a way that doesn't involve a 15-year-old girl with a dragon.
I think it's just in a game where we development wise we know they have to reskin stuff, they reuse models and stuff, but in a game where the community especially is always like, oh, they're lazy, they're blah blah blah. They're like, all right, let's like bring back this old content, but also then make it the same primal as we just had that people have been grinding against and are sick of in Savage. It doesn't make sense to me. I don't follow their reasoning for it, but
it might also be. Sorry, you go.
I hope that Unreal Trials are on a rotation. It's Shiva now. It'll be Titan. Then
it will be. Yeah, I think that's what they said that they're gonna do. Yeah.
Right. I think that this is their first attempt at a Mythic Plus. Not quite, right?
Yeah.
They're trying to see if people want this sort of seasonal content where, yeah, it'll rotate, and you do it enough in a week, or you do it your week, you get the chest or whatever the heck, faux hollows will be. And maybe they're just trying to give you that like other monthly, who knows when these things are going to cycle once we have more than one. That's what I hope. And that I understand. Now, if it's just, hey, just fight Shiva, it's the same as any other fight with Shiva, but like it gives you this generic currency that lets you get this thing. And if you fight Titan, it's the same generic currency. People are just going to wait until it's the one that they care about, or is the easiest, or, like, so.
Well, and it depends, what the rewards are, because we don't know.
Yes.
That's going to be the big question mark. What is the reason for me going back and doing this fight?
Right.
I think it might be good for in-game groups, like hardcore in-game groups, if they're interested in this particular content, if it's difficult enough for them. They haven't had stuff to do in this game for months.
Yeah.
So if there's a cycle of these primals going through, it will give them something extra to do. Like even my group at this point, we're pretty casual. We're done with our clears of Shiva. We're like sick of Shiva. Don't want to do it anymore. We need something else. So we're doing Blue Mage. But I guess it could very possibly be a good thing for people who are done with main content, like raids, to do is placement.
It depends
instead of going off to another MMO.
Yeah, it depends on the difficulty though, because as like a more being not in this game, but being before a more hardcore player, once we're done and we have all of the gear, it is time to go to another game. Like, yes, why would I continue? You know what I mean? So it's like it depends on the who exactly.
It's like the executive board over at Square was like, hey, can we maybe not tell people to go play other games between patches? Can we? Is there something we can do to make them stick around a little bit?
Yeah, the biggest question I have is the difficulty, because that'll tell us exactly what they want to do with it.
There's also the whole like this is fighting content. This is PvE content that I don't have under my list of things completed. I need this. I am a collector.
Yeah, some people. I don't know. Some people are going to try and have the best DPS in a way that we can't find out. Because we can't find that out. But there's going to be those people who want to do it. But if it's not hard enough, then it's going to get burned through, and then nobody will care.
It's weird, right? Because we talk about groups that are done with Savage, and so I guess it really comes down to the difficulty and the reward. Is the difficulty going to be extreme difficulty? Is it going to be something between like a raid and an ultimate? What are we getting from it? Is it going to be something worthwhile getting? I mean, lots of questions, and it's just one of those things. You're just gonna have to wait and see what the reaction is to it. And I think Square is even thinking, okay, we'll do this one and we'll see how it goes. I'll be curious to see how it goes.
Yeah, I would love to know. Like,
we'll see Shiva's outfit.
Yeah,
Okay.
But I would love to be able to ask the question: who is this content for? Yeah, and like why? Because I'm not saying that in a mean way. I just want to know so that we can go, okay, that makes sense. Or
who's it aimed at?
Yeah.
No, absolutely. And that's a very reasonable question. And I think it's one of those things we're just going to have to find out when we throw our faces into it and see, how much our asses get kicked in it. And they'll be like, oh, this is for this group. Okay.
Yeah.
I imagine it can't be much more difficult than the original, if at all.
Think so. Yeah.
Yeah. It's hard because
they said there will be things that surprise us because there are things about our jobs that are different than back then that we can't possibly do the mechanics the same way.
Yeah, I'll be really curious to see, because it's one of those things where throughout 5.x they've been very providing for casual players, right? We've had like ocean fishing, we've had the D&M revamp, we've had nothing but gather and craft or beast or tribe quests. We did get an ultimate. So I don't know, like I'm really curious how they, on their map of who they make content for, who they feel is at the disadvantage right now, or who they feel isn't being catered to as much. If it's just like a beefed up Shiva for level 80 and it's not super hard, but it's not super easy and most people can get into it, then yeah, okay, sure. I mean, that's something for everybody. But yeah, I don't know. We're just gonna have to wait and see. I mean, we can speculate all day on how hard this is gonna be and what the difficulty will be like, but we'll have to wait and see. Moving on to resistance weapon quest updates. We'll get our first step here in upgrading our resistance weapons. This will, of course, include the Bozjan Southern Front instance, which is basically like our new Eureka. Really curious to see how things are handled there. We do have quite a bit of information on it that we'll go through. It also says that after you gain access to the Southern Front, the quest that you accept to upgrade your weapon has you collecting items either from the Southern Front or outside of it. So you don't necessarily need to do the content to upgrade the weapon, and I'm really curious how they approach this, and I'm really curious why they decided to split it that way.
Do they mean like get this item from Bozja and get this item from outside, or do they mean both in one or both in the other?
Yeah, they just say both in and outside. Like that was the that was the translation, I believe.
I mean, and coming up to this, I mean, we've had the impression that they wanted to give alternate paths to complete this stuff. I think
so, because that bummed me out about some of the Eureka content. Like, I didn't always want to go in there and have to farm certain things. It would be nice to have been able to get light outside doing raid or something, right?
Less of it maybe, but that's fine.
Yeah, I'm really curious. I think this partially could be because of the way that the stuff in Southern Front is going to work. It is going to be capped on participants. And so maybe this is a thing where if people get frustrated and can't get into these things, here's your other path to go and still progress. That might be why they're doing it this way.
Are we only going to have one zone of it, though? Won't we just have multiple?
Well, eventually we'll have multiple zones, but you'll probably get different items in each zone.
No, I mean, like, multiple instances.
Well,
so if a 74-man caps, there will be another.
Right, but if you pop the event in one instance, it's not going to be popped in the other one.
Yeah.
So I mean, it's it's the same as Eureka, but except this time instead of just shouting and having the whole zone Zerg and M, it's like, okay, you get 48 people. If you're not, if you don't get in there, you're out of luck.
If you don't just gotta press the button soon enough, because you have to queue for these. Technically, it's kind of an open world queue instead of just walking into the zone.
Yeah, it's really strange the way they have it, and it's also they said that people that help to start these up as well get some kind of like a priority for it, which is, I love that part. I think that's really nice. And I think this is just, I think what they saw from Eureka is people just are zerging everything, and like, yeah, okay, there's a couple mechanics you need to pay attention to, but that's about it. So I think they're limiting the amount of people to still have it be, it's most likely still just going to be a face roll in most aspects, I would imagine, right? But maybe you have to pay attention a little bit more. If, a bunch of people start dying, then it becomes a problem. You can't just, cheese the rest, the other 10% of its HP or something. So Getting into it. So to get into it, once you flag the quest, you have to be level 71 or above. Once you're in, you can change jobs and swap around parties and all that kind of stuff. You will gain experience when using jobs below 80, so you can use this to level if you want. When you enter, you'll be synced at 80, and all gear will be level synced down to 430. Mounts can be used immediately after entering, but they cannot fly.
Yeah.
So that's
okay.
I mean,
yeah, that's fine.
I appreciate that they're giving us mount access right away, and you don't
Yeah.
have to quest it, and that's
I like
nice.
that it's not separate leveling.
Yes, exactly. It's not, it's not required to do this to then unlock the mount, and also your levels in here only matter in here and things like that.
But don't worry, we still have weird content specific bullshit coming up. Don't worry, there is still some weird gimmick. The objectives for this content, they say do battle with the 4th Imperial Legion to raise your metal, TTLE, metal, with sufficient metal. Raise your resistance rank to help the front line push forward, and storm Castrum, Lacus, Latore. You can earn metal by joining special encounters on the southern front, including skirmishes and critical engagements. And that's the only way you can earn metal. You can't earn it by just killing stuff on the field. So skirmishes, these are kind of just like fate type things. There's no limit to the number of players that can participate. And so the rewarding metal is commensurate to the contributions to your battle. So if you put a lot in, you get a lot out. Critical engagements are going to be a little different. These are only started up by meeting specific conditions. Obviously, we don't know what those are yet. But I would imagine it's something like, complete this skirmish or that skirmish or a series of skirmishes or something along those lines. And then they say only enough. This is the one where they start to cap people. So a limited number of players can participate with encounters ranging from 24 to 48 person battles. So it sounds like there might be different sizes as well. I would imagine the 48 person ones are like the big zone boss type skirmishes, or I'm sorry, critical engagements. If there are more requests for deployment than are permitted for engagement, participants will be selected at random. So basically how this will work is a group will make the critical engagement spawn. You'll get a window. It has a timer that says, okay, if you want in, click this button. And then the first 48 people to do that get in. If there's more than 48 people, it'll just draw people out of a hat, and maybe you'll get in, maybe you won't. And then you'll have a preparation period where you can, get into parties and all that stuff, which is... It seems like a hassle. Like that's one of the drawbacks about this over Eureka is with the cap. Now, you can't just, you have a party, you just go around and you do your stuff. Now it's okay. Maybe you have a party for skirmishes, and then the engagement pops and you get in, but no one else in your party does. So you're like, bye.
Drop party.
And so I'm not crazy about that aspect of it.
Yeah.
But they say, you can, again, we mentioned this earlier, you can gain priority for selection if you contribute to triggering the critical engagement. There will also be use of special items that you can use to help prioritize your entrance into this as well. So I read into it like the weird stuff from Eureka from the last leg for like to get portal access, like that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
Only this time, like maybe people will actually use them. And hopefully they'll be more readily available, because those things were a pain in the ass to get in Eureka. Let's see. They're comparing the critical engagements to bosses in dungeons or raids. And obviously it will award greater metal and rewards for completion.
Yeah. It's I like the idea of this, especially because, there was talk of one-on-one critical engagements, which just by that existing would be hilarious to watch. Oh my goodness. Like, even if you didn't get into it, could you imagine the arena of people with their glow sticks just probably rooting for the monster so that the person dies so that they can try, but still,
Right.
But that would be so cool. Socially, like, as far as social mechanics, I really like the way that this works. It's going to be frustrating to have a series of critical engagements that you miss because of just the lottery. It will be like it's going to happen. So
and that's that's the weight of it, right? Of that decision is, okay, we want these bosses to be somewhat challenging, but I don't know. I'm really curious what the reception to this is going to be. It really depends on how often they can spawn. You know, if there are crazy window timers, or if it's something more akin to like a pop NM or something from 11, where maybe you do a bunch of skirmishes, maybe you get an item, and then you can pop the engage. We have no idea how this is going to work yet. There definitely is an opportunity to be incredibly frustrating, though. So hopefully it doesn't end up being that way.
People, I had a friend who immediately was like, if they're random, the zone has the chance to pick the worst, like, being carried person in the whole zone to put into this arena with this monster, and they're just gonna fall on their face and not know what to do. And I'm like, that's a terrible thing to think, but also might be kind of funny.
Yeah, it's that social aspect that we're kind of missing from 11 that nobody really liked, but it was part of the game. You know, like train to zone. You know, getting caught up in that. You know, people not liking you posting up where you are, so they'll bring monsters over to you. It's not quite as nefarious, but it's kind of that Schadenfreude. You know, it's like, let me just watch you. Oh, yeah, look what you did. You know, I don't know. I think it has a place in an MMO, as long as it's not really mean. But I don't know.
I'll be really curious what the spawn conditions are for the critical engagements, because they say that if you help contribute to that, like, you're in. But is it limited to one party? Can multiple, like, how does that work? Because again, it's that idea of wanting to keep a party together. You know, I think to break up parties like that is just, it's frustrating, especially in a zone like that, because when a critical engagement happens, you're gonna have every party in that zone is just gonna be shattered. Because you're going to have people leaving all over the place, shouting everywhere. You're going to have people shouting for the party for the critical engagement. You're going to have people shouting for a new party because everybody left because they got into the critical engagement and they didn't. I think shout channel wise, it's going to be a mess. It's going to be an absolute cluster.
It would have been real slick of them to add like a temporary party for the critical engagement. Like you automatically get pulled into this other channel, or something.
It groups you. It tries to group by full party stat. You know, grab a healer, grab a tank, and then you get the leftover party.
Have to do that,
right? Exactly.
Otherwise, it's like, oh, we have 40 DPS and 2 healers and no tanks.
Right. So it's going to be. The devil is in the details here, and they of course can't give it to us during the live letter. It's going to be us bashing our faces against it, seeing how that whatever they put the group together algorithm works, and then us having to deal with it. But hopefully they thought about that.
I kind of hope they have like a pre thing, so if you're like
an auto party thing,
if you're in a group with the right party setup, they're just like, this whole party, we picked one person from this party, this whole party. But at the same time, that is a big chunk of people that could get left out because people went ahead and made a party. So it's
because then you'd have the party
sword
being like just splitting up, like all 8 of them are in 8 different pushes to help spawn 8 different ones. So one of them could be in each one. So you start getting into like that social engineering.
People out entirely.
There's definitely a lot of details that we don't have yet, but there's definitely the potential for a lot of things to go wrong and be not enjoyable.
But it's so interesting.
Oh, absolutely. And this is one of those things, you know, after Eureka came out, right? We had our first zone. We're like, okay, all right, and then we had Pagos, and we were like, oh my god, this content. But it got better. It just took them a while to incorporate that feedback. And so it's a big question of, okay, what did they learn from Eureka? And, you know, I think there are definitely still going to be some learning, you know, some teachable moments or learnable moments in this as well. What they're going to be is to be seen, because it's you know, one of those things is on paper, we can say, okay, this is probably how things are going to go. But then in actuality, the community has this thing where they'll do stuff that the devs could never have anticipated.
Right.
So once we actually get into it, who knows what's going to happen with it. So
as soon as you put content in front of a group of people in an MMO, they will find the most efficient way to do it.
Oh yeah.
And it
Oh,
may
yeah.
not be the way you thought, right? It's gonna happen. So I wonder how they manage this. I'm looking forward because we were gonna start on starting a critical engagement, and it made me upset. Like the third bullet point just completely says that they don't make a party for you. Basically, you have to form your own party.
Yeah.
I was like, maybe they'll do that, and then I read and I was like, right, they said that they wouldn't.
It's weird because right from a system standpoint, to do that they would then have to forcibly remove people from parties, and they probably don't want to do that.
Yeah.
But I think that's a big exclamation mark like thing that's probably going to need to be addressed somehow. But maybe not. Maybe there's just no easy way to do it, and they're just going to be like, all right, just drop and reform. I don't know. I really don't know. All right, so gimmick. We knew there was going to be a gimmick. Lost actions, which aren't lost if you have them. They should be found actions, right? Just like Eureka, right? These are special actions that can only be used on the Southern Front, that offer various beneficial effects, healing, and can even revive players in battle. They are created from forgotten fragments obtained on the field. This sounds very familiar.
Mm-hmm.
However, if your gimmicky thing is not enough of a pain in the ass, each crystal used to create these actions has a given weight. So you can only carry a certain amount of weight for your crystals. So if you're like hoarding all this stuff from Eureka, if you're one of those people, no, you can't do that anymore.
Right.
It's another thing where it feels like they're making it needlessly frustrating, right?
Remember what I said I didn't want to see from Eureka?
Yep.
Logograms.
Yeah. Don't bring them forward into
F.
F. They're giving us a system, like this system based Blue Mage spellbook is what this is what I'm choosing to believe it to be. But the Blue Mage spellbook from 11, not 14, the one where each one had a different weight, and you had to pick and choose, and you had to have a certain number at the end, if I remember correctly.
Puppet Master.
Oh, I see.
So
see, you're approaching it from a completely different weight definition than I am. I'm thinking like, okay, so they don't want me over encumbered.
Right. Yeah. I don't know. Like they.
But instead, it might be like an attribute points maximum is what you're thinking more along.
Because they say that you create it from fragments. So like, there's no limit on the fragments, but there's a limit on the crystal. But like having the crystal gives you the ability. So it's like, you can have 500,000 fragments, but when you make a crystal, it has a weight. Is that what they're saying?
Maybe. I mean, and I'm wondering too. Like Eureka, is this a thing where once you get it, you then have to activate it, or is it once you get it, you have it? Like I
would be okay with it if it's like you gather the different crystal parts, kind of like Puppet Master. I was just saying, you have the parts, you put them in to create the spells or abilities or whatever you want, and then if you decide you want a different one, you take them back out and you keep them and make new ones. That would be
I can't imagine them being that nice to us.
Yeah, I know.
I want them to be nice to me.
No, not happening. Can't have that. We need to have reasons to grind the lesser non-meddling granting things so you can get your crappy crystals to use to unlock that ability that you're never going to use.
At least I hope it's in a separate system and it's not inventory. Because when you say weight, I think inventory. And I think that's an extra limitation on your inventory, and we don't need that. Because there's already going to be fragments. How many fragments? How many different fragments are these currency?
In that regard, I could see it working like Eureka, where you have your base materials, and then once you turn them in, you have that window just for that content of, okay, here's what you have access to, and then you equip it. But again, like, right, it's one of those things where part of me doesn't expect it to be that much different from Eureka.
Yeah,
but it could be. I don't know. To
me, watching the live letter and people going, "Oh, it's new Eureka, it's new Eureka," and the more they talk about it, I'm like, this doesn't really make me think of Eureka.
It definitely has elements of it, right? The lost actions. From what they're telling us, it doesn't seem that different from what we had in Eureka. It's, if anything, it's just like, it's, it's an evolution of that system, which is funny because
Seems more
you think
organized,
of,
which I like.
you think of like an update to content or like things learned, but then it's like, but these crystals have given weights, and it's like, that seems like maybe a step backwards. That doesn't seem like it's getting better. That seems like it's being worse.
Like we said earlier, at least there's no leveling system. That was
That's
probably
huge.
the worst
That's
part
huge.
of Eureka. You have
Oh,
to
I
go
agree.
in.
I agree.
You have to get to the point where you can do the content and
leveling and mount access, because walking around Pagos was the absolute
so small in comparison. For me personally, the ability to ride the mount is so small in comparison to having to spend hours.
Oh, I
to
agree.
Just get to the point where you can do the point of the zone.
Yeah. But definitely like leveling is gone, which was like, that was the huge thing, and then next up would have been mounts. Like, I mean, I can I can remember the last Fanfest. They had that one activity where it's like, okay, you're in Pagos and you have to like get to this Aetheryte first. And like all I could think about was like, oh, I got this shit in the bag. Right? With the amount of like Pagos I did, I'm like, oh, easy.
I actually when I did that one, I won. And I did it by just running straight up to the dragon, and I died. But so did everybody else, and everybody else returned, and I stayed, and nobody else made it back in time, so I won because I stayed.
Wow. Right. I was sitting next to a gentleman, and so I looked over, like I picked a machinist, right, because we have that peloton, right, and he was on like Bard or something. I'm like, oh, okay, he knows what's up. And so this dude raises his hand before he got there, and I was like, no, like I beat him, and so we both got stickers, but so it's okay. I got my sticker, and I put it on my laptop, and now my laptop keyboard doesn't work. So that was a well used sticker. No. Hashtag first world sticker problems. All right.
Before we leave this area, it's not on here. I'm gonna bring it up just for a second. The job adjustments.
Yes.
Right. Or at least there aren't any, right? There aren't any. We don't know about them.
Right.
But I feel that I have to say something about the summoner one, right? If you don't mind.
Do it up.
Go right ahead.
The first one is like they started talking about job adjustments, and they're like, it's not all jobs. There's just a few. The big ones are monk and summoner. And monk, we don't really know. It's some sort of a big overhaul.
Yeah.
But they won't be finished until 5.4, so it's not, Bard gets a damage buff, which is cool. Right? Bard.
We were talking about that, hooray.
Yeah.
But what else did we talk about, Charles?
Well, there's also Astrologian, I think they get light speed MP cost. Yeah. So it's like small stuff.
Right.
And then they get to Summoner, and Yoshi P straight up says, there's a Summoner main in the room. I can't look them in the eye. And I got terrified. Let me tell you. I was like, what is he going to say? It's not even a big deal. Like, it's not like, I just wanted to say that because people are like, oh God, it's crazy. Every Summoner, well, that's really into the theory crafting that we can't do because we don't know how we can get, the DPS numbers because we can't do that. But the theory crafting that we would do if we could get them, like Summoner was a little bit overtuned, and this adjustment, at least the rumored adjustment, it's not even that big a deal. It's like taking some of the damage off Try Disaster. That's okay. Everything's fine. The sky's not falling. Right. Until we see it, and then they go, oh God, we're doing
just
a whole bunch
in the MSQ, not on Summoner specifically.
Right, exactly. Yeah, everything, the sky is falling in the MSQ. It's not falling for Summoners. But they did mention that they want to do a bigger rework, but they just can't do it yet. So that gives me some hope that one day they're going
to rip apart Summoner and Scholar.
Yes. Please do the separation. Please.
It'll cause a calamity the size of 2.0's revamp.
That's the 8th Umbral calamity right there.
Right.
Splitting Summoner and Scholar.
Somebody needs to incorporate that into the lore. Give me a lore way to. Where's our next we need to go away from collabs, right, for unnecessary lore craft, and just do like random in-game things. Summoner and Scholar separates. How does that work? And why is it the cause of the 8th Umbral calamity?
That would
Smooth SS. Let me send some emails here. We'll get this working.
Yeah. No, I just wanted to bring it up because it was there, and it's so tiny, and it only took like a minute or two. But yeah, we'll see the actual change, but it's probably just going to be the on hit of Try Disaster is lower.
Yeah, well, and again, that's part of the reason why they really don't talk about job adjustments anymore on these live letters is because they say one thing and everybody loses their shit.
Yeah, exactly.
That's exactly what.
Nerf.
Really no.
It's really a shame because that was one of my favorite parts of the live letters, and
sure,
I don't want to say I've never flipped out over it, but not to the point where I'd get on the forums and be like, "You guys should kill yourselves," and people do that. Calm down, it's not that big a deal.
Yeah. Meanwhile, we have Aldi over here like Summoner's a little OP, and if they want to tweak, adjust that, that's cool. Like we get it. And now they are, and he's like, whatever, it's not a big deal. Like it's fine.
It's okay. I am very much looking forward to whatever they do after that. That's where the big, the danger.
Yeah.
Like adjusting numbers, whatever.
What do you want to see for Summoner? What are things that you would want to see them do?
Oh boy, man, it's hard to say.
We don't have 5 hours, Fusion.
Yeah,
come on.
It's hard to say, but like the main.
That's next week. Tune in next week as Aldianaux tells us everything he wants to see them do to Summoner.
Only if I could bring in people who know way more than I do, because I play it and I'm kind of adjacent to all the theory crafting, but I don't do it. I would love, man, if we could bring on some of those.
I just play it. That don't mean I understand it.
Yeah,
I just push the buttons, numbers appear, things die.
But I didn't do the math behind it, so I don't know what.
I can't do math either. Once they start adding like letters into it, I'm done. I can't.
I'm a programmer. Math is the machine's job. I just tell it what math to do. But
right? I have a calculator. Why do I need to know math?
But yeah, it's just a very strict rotation with very weird timings. With your Eggies don't quite listen to you when you think they should. Bahamut certainly doesn't, and it's a lot of just flow nonsense. And then I don't think they knew what they wanted to do from the beginning. Are they going to add another trance? Like everyone's going to get new stuff for the next expansion. Is it a third trance? Do we now have
waiting for Alexander?
Yeah. Do we now have an even longer rotation? Because then that means one rotation is going through each, trance. Because right now I don't play Summoner on stuff that's going to die quickly. Because it's why would I do that? But yeah, so it's a lot of those things. I can't go into further like exactly numbers and things like that.
Right.
And separate it from Scholar because there's so much that you can't do because they're together. Why is my summoning instant but Scholar's isn't? It's the same button. Like what? Why do they have Aether Flow but my energy drain gives me Aether Flow?
Scholars have to think about it because they're smart and they need to do the math on their book page. They need to complete their workbook problems before they can summon the fairy.
And summoners are all himbos who just have pets do it for them. That's fine. Nobody clip that. That's not what I really think.
Last week on Aetheryte Radio.
Done.
But yeah, I mean, they know that there's stuff that needs to be done. They're always so apologetic when they talk about Summoner, right? Like, there's no other job that they're as like, we're sorry, we're gonna change it again. We can't do it now.
It used to be like that with Bard, I feel, but
yes.
Summoner has definitely had the short end of every kind of stick that exists.
Remember Eggies? Remember Eggies?
No.
I remember the opportunity. I mean, I've been saying we've been doing Blue Mage stuff because we're bored with raiding. And as I'm doing Blue Mage stuff and I have the primal abilities, I'm like, I'm more of a summoner than I've ever been in this game.
Oh no.
It's true. Like,
that's
I can
depressing as hell. Oh my gosh.
Right? I don't have to deal with the stupid Eggy. I can just be using primal abilities. Why Blue Mage and not Summoner? I don't know.
The worst part about me for Eggy, and it's funny too because I've been like trying to get back into Summoner a little bit, right, so that I can have Scholar to do
right.
But it's like doing my bar, and I'm like,
Summoner.
I'm like, oh right, I have to like do Eggy actions now, and I'm like, this is weird. Like coming from like a Heaven's Word Summoner, right, where that was like my tertiary job. I'm like, I don't even know what's going on anymore. But looking at Eggies, right? It's one of those things where is it all like text commands to even change them? Like, is there an easy like UI? Okay, so that sucks. Like, why is that still a thing? But like the whole reason like it took them so long to include those first changes was like, oh, we needed to work on like a way to like animate them and stuff for the different abilities. And they're like, but we have that now, so adding new ones should be easy. 3 years later,
right?
Nothing.
So busy with other stuff.
Yeah,
I guess.
To me, it feels like, and this is my speculation, and this is speculation. If I had a tinfoil hat to put on, I would put it on. But to me, they keep de-emphasizing dots and eggies.
Yeah.
Like they just keep de-emphasizing them and more emphasis on the trance and the rotation. And it just feels like one of these days, the reason that they're like, no more eggy glamour is because we don't want you to have eggies. Like, like, but what do you do? Because
they want Summoner to have these big, powerful summons, but there's a cost to that. Yeah. And they're trying to figure out what that is, I think.
Yeah.
They should just take Summoner and turn it into like what was that one in Tactics? Like, it wasn't quite a Summoner, like Elementalist.
Oh. Yeah, like
or something like
or Evoker.
Yeah. Evoker.
Yeah.
No, Evoker is Summoner.
I'm thinking of a different game.
But but there was it was like Summoner, but like lesser kind of.
Yeah.
Just change Summoner to that, break it from Scholar, and then people won't expect these big crazy things, and you can just do little summony things and whatever, and it's fine.
Yeah.
I like that you've made up a scenario where it's okay that there's no eggies because they're gonna give you a cooler mechanic. It's like very hopeful.
Yeah. I mean,
it's a really cool mechanic if you can keep the boss alive for 5 minutes to get to it.
Right.
Yeah.
And that's the difficulty too, because it takes so long to get into one rotation, and it's like, I'll hear people go, well, my opener sucked, and I'm like, I won't know for 2 minutes, because technically, my opener
that's the weirdest thing for me about
that's almost entirely me. Like, well, that opener sucked, but that's because it's all RNG. Like, did it proc?
Yes.
No. No feathers at all. Screw me.
That's always the weirdest thing to me in terms of job balancing is you have jobs with stance timers, but then you have Samurai that's just like, like I'm good. Like I'll just keep these charges forever. And it's so weird. And then you have Dragoon where they tweaked it so like if you just push the button, like you never run out. But like, why do I have to push the button? Why is the button a thing at all? Like it's really weird. I mean, like obviously job identity is very much a thing, but I don't know, man.
It's interesting because at the very high level, every job has the same problems. You will have exactly the optimal rotation that for this fight because you've done it.
Yep.
And you will do that. And for everyone, it's kind of difficult, right? Because that's the juice in getting better and better. But there are some jobs where that jump over into like optimization, like, okay, I know enough to get into optimization. It's just a giant mountain. And there's so much stuff that you just don't know. And Summoner is one of the worst for that. It's still easy enough to use, but it's hard to master. And that's what you want. But it's really hard to master. At least if you want to really optimize it. And I think that's really what they need to change. If they change just that little bit of it, I don't think people would be complaining as much.
Yeah,
it wouldn't
raise that bar just a little bit.
Yeah, but who knows?
On the flip side, a lot of people I've seen are kind of worried that Monk is just going to get dumbed down
really
into
easy,
oblivion. Yeah. Because Monk currently is arguably still one of the most difficult jobs.
Because you have to deal with the boss.
Yeah, but the kind of people who play Monk probably want that.
Yes.
So don't dumb it down too much because they're going to be bored.
And the same with Summoners.
Yeah, that's always the hard thing is there are people enjoying the job in its current state.
Yeah.
So how are you changing it, and how upset will those people get because of it? I mean, and again, it depends on job identities, the aesthetics of the job, how the job plays. It's like Dragoon at the beginning of the Stormblood. It's like there's some really cool ideas here, but oh my god, is this horrible? Like we need to adjust this, and it changed quite a bit for the better. But then you have stuff like Monk, where if they dumb it down, if they get rid of like positionals or something, then is that Monk anymore? Right. Who knows? It's hard to say. I mean, especially when anytime I think of positionals now, I think about that first boss for Eden, that first tier. It's the melee damage upkeep strat, because you're running around and all this stuff. Like, how does that work? And
and these are like really fundamental MMO problems too. Like, it's not just 14.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Like that melee versus ranged, and how much damage does it cost to be able to be further away from the boss, like that sort of stuff. Or does it matter because people are going to do the uptime strat, so they'll be more equal anyway? It's such a weird, like, you talk about math, like that's just insanity. So it's hard to do.
Yeah. Moving along here after a little summoner tangent.
Sorry about
that. I mean, it's to be expected. You're on the show. There's gonna be at least 5 minutes dedicated to summoner in some regard. Crafter and Gatherer updates. We're gonna get trial synthesis. So starting at level 15, you can just practice crafting. Okay,
That's
cool.
Awesome.
Cool.
Yeah,
I like it. There are definitely sometimes where I'm like, I think I'm gonna be okay if I do this synth this way, but I wish there was a way to test without wasting my materials.
It's that one time, like during like the 0.2 patch of an expansion where you're kind of done with everything. You're like, I'll get back into crafting, and you're like, let's see how my macros do from the last expansion, and they're terrible. But now you can just use those and not waste any materials.
And here's another thing: you do a trial synth every time, and if you were aiming for a collectible and didn't get one, turn it on. Yes.
Yeah, you could do that. Like, okay, can I get this collectible? All right. Oh man, I didn't have it on. Oh, but it was a trial anyway. Okay, cool.
There you go.
Yeah, to me, it's like perfecting your crafting rotation, just like perfecting your DPS rotation. Because a lot of people are going to do it to test macros.
Absolutely.
But a lot more people are going to do it to really figure out exactly how these buttons work in combination. It'll be cool.
It's good practice to building the macro. It's learning how the things work, and then you're like, okay, and then we'll put these in macro, hit that button, and okay, we're good. Or oh no, that's not going to work.
Silent Ogleps in chat asked, do we think this is going to lower the value of mats? I don't think so. I mean, I definitely see where that question is coming from, but I don't think it will.
Yeah. I would say, if anything, it would raise them.
You think so?
Because I think the way that this stuff works is it gives people a no-cost option to perfect their crafting, which means more people will be able to do those crafts, which, and so I think because of that, there might be more demand for some of these items. And so I think the price would go up if there was fluctuation at all. Yeah.
Right. Yeah. And it really depends on how many people use it, for like, and how they use it. So if a lot of people are like, oh yeah, this gets rid of my anxiety for using those real mats, then people will start using more.
I think it'll probably stay the same, because I think you're going to have people on both sides of the fence.
Yeah. It'll be really interesting to see how that goes.
And I think too, I mean, keep in mind, as well, we are getting Ishgard again. And there's been a lot of content that is really good for easing people into gathering and crafting. And so I think, we're also getting a reverse lookup function. So you can search for recipes for the materials that you have in your inventory. God knows everybody just has a pile of crap they don't know what they can do with. There's
how I used to figure out what to do with that crap? Gamerscape.com.
I mean, there you go. Quick desynth as well we're getting, so you can automatically desynth stackable items, which is awesome. Remember desynth? I remember desynth. I would just desynth retainer fish, and that's all I cared about. Just because it's like whatever. But yeah, so that's coming, and I think with these changes on top of just another wave of Ishgard, I think the people that these are, everybody's different, right? But I think for these people that may have like crafting anxiety, these are really good updates to give it a look, and especially now with the trial synth, like that's perfect. Like it will not hurt you or hurt your wallet in any way. You can just try it, and if it's not for you, fine. If you liked it, then you can start dumping money into stuff and picking up stuff. Cool.
Yeah. It's going to be really interesting to see, because there's so many factors in the economy, like one of them being we don't have a new raid with this either, so there's not new crafting gear for raiders, so that part of the market is cut off, but we have Ishgard instead, so it's going to be really interesting to see. I really do like that question, because I hadn't really thought about the greater implications of it.
again, so with Ishgard, this is going to be 5.31. So we'll get this like a week or two after the main patch because they want you to do the MSQ. Please do the MSQ. We will get new gathering items added to the diadem. So I imagine it's going to work the same way that it has the last time. Old recipes will still be able to be made. Those items will still exist. But there's going to be new items to gather, which are then used for new recipes, which is fine. With that, the new rankings are going to reopen again. The new items are the ones that are going to count towards your seasonal score. And then the top ranked crafters and gatherers will get the achievements and titles. So if you get first to 12th place, you'll get a Phase 3 Divine Ascension or Saint Ascendant title. And first to 100th place, you'll get Phase 3 Minor Miracle or Beata Ascendant. So if you want to get one of those titles after you get that MSQ done, just jump into crafting and jump into diadem and there you go. I don't know if I'm tempted to. I'm a little tempted to try for it. I don't know. And that's the other thing too is, will there be more competition now that we have trial synthesis? Will this make more people want to get into craft? Who knows?
I think this is a better title too for the first to 12 place. Like, I've heard a lot of people going, I want to be a saint something. It doesn't even matter. Just put that in my name. Yeah.
Phase 3. Oh, yeah. What about Phase 1 and 2? Doesn't matter. Phase 3.
Exactly. Skip right to 3.
Yeah. So yeah, I don't know. We'll see. I mean, I still have like a whole backlog of stuff I need to finish. So we'll see. We'll see what I'm doing once this patch comes out.
Mm-hmm.
Someone in chat saying it wasn't that hard on server. It was on their server. It was super hard on our server. A couple of people in our static got a couple of the top 12, 10 places.
Yeah.
And they spent their entire lives on these jobs, crafting these things, gathering this stuff for a week. It was not good.
It's one of those things like
I canceled raid one night so that they could continue to keep their scores up.
Exactly.
That's hardcore. Yeah, it's one of those things. I mean, obviously like first to 100th place, and there's a lot of crafting, like, not as much gathering, but I think like just pick a crafter and just stick to it, spend like an hour a day or something and you'll probably get it. Unless you're on like a super crazy crafting server. I don't know.
You're screwed on Balmung. You are
yes,
screwed.
you are absolutely. It's going to need to be your life, honestly.
Your life will be gone for a week. Prepare your meals. Don't sleep.
Get ready. And,
if you have a significant other, convince them.
Say goodbye.
Craft and convince them to keep working.
Say goodbye. Be nice to them so maybe they can bring you sandwiches and juice.
Pay a task rabbit.
And I really like this. Like, I don't engage with this content at all. Like, I don't, but I love that it's there. Just like, the ultimates that I haven't really engaged with. I love that it's there. I love that there's that aspirational content to be like, oh man, how'd you get that? Oh, okay, I'll try it next time, every MMO needs that.
Yeah, I'm not usually big on like gathering and crafting, but I always find myself at least at some point in an expansion, usually like the 0.2 patch, where I'm like, okay, I kind of got the other jobs level that I wanted to play with, right? So maybe I'll check this out, see what they did, and then I get into it a little bit, and then I don't, and then I get bored of it. But with the way that the Ishgard stuff has worked, I keep coming back to it. So, I don't have everything at cap yet. I'm getting there. I'm slowly working on stuff, but I think maybe this time instead of leveling something new, I'll stick on something and just turn out that higher level stuff and see what happens. But we'll see. Maybe if you get one of these titles, you'll have priority for Ishgard housing. Boy, wouldn't that be ooh.
Then Balmung would catch on fire.
Oh gosh, the entire community would catch on fire. Yeah. And, the hate, because could you imagine? Yeah, people would be so pissed.
Honestly, though, I wouldn't really mind. Like, I am never going to try for one of these titles. I have other stuff to do with my time, like sleep.
It's a thing, though. I think we're.
But I wouldn't put it like I wouldn't blame anybody because those people, at least on my server, put a lot of time in.
Right, and it would make sense, right, to have that happen. But I think there would be flack for not announcing that before. And we still don't know what the hell is going on with Ishgard housing, because anytime Yoshida's asked about it, he always just plays it coyly, and like we never have an answer about what exactly we're getting. Are we getting some weird instance thing? Are we just getting new wards? Like, what is going on? He hasn't confirmed anything.
Makes you wonder if they know.
It does. It does. Yeah.
Yeah.
Maybe they want to do instance housing and they're just not sure. Who knows?
Yeah. And they're
Like,
fall back
maybe in the beginning they were like, we'll just make it another ward like everybody else. And then so many people were like, oh man, I really hope that they come out with instance housing for that.
Yeah.
Wouldn't it be so cool? And they were like, shit, we should fix this. We should do this. Yeah, we should give them what they want. After Vieira, yeah, we should just do what they want.
Right? Who knows?
I mean, it's not my idea. It's not my idea of having an island somewhere in Hingashi run by, like a raccoon kami, charging me to upgrade the size of my house. But
yeah,
that's what I want. I want housing that's instanced. I don't care about the neighborhoods. Nobody uses the neighborhoods. Square doesn't use the neighborhoods anymore. They tried it for one event, never did it again. And I want to be able to upgrade the size of my house.
Yeah, there's always the and they have given us kind of both. You can have a house and an apartment, Yeah. And if there was this third instance, there's even more stuff they have to do. But is that more or less than adding a whole bunch of wards to a new place? Like, I don't know.
I like the neighborhoods, but I don't like them enough to outweigh letting everybody get a house that they want.
Correct.
Keep the neighborhoods as they are, and then add the
make the neighborhood stuff like a premium version of housing. Give everybody access to an instance neighborhood for a gil fee. Remove more gil from the economy. Done. Yeah, I don't know.
But
again, I'm not a developer, but just do it.
But it will come.
Just
with
make
the
this work.
They wouldn't make new wards, because they would be making this basically. Yeah, and I don't know that that's a bad trade-off. If Ishgard housing launches and it's ward-based, right? But then in the next expansion, they're like, we know, here's some instance. I wouldn't even care, because now you can get the neighborhood if you want to fight for it. Yeah. You can get just the apartment if you don't care, or an FC room. Or you can get yourself an instance,
Yeah.
Get yourself an instance.
All I'm saying is honestly, Final Fantasy XI, the 18-year-old MMO, has instance housing. You can still have people visit it, and they added a second floor in the last few years.
I didn't even.
But this new game, we can't do that.
Instance housing, I have a couple of houses I would give up so people could have neighborhood houses if I could get an instant house instead, because I don't need the neighborhood on these other houses. I just want
a house to decorate. Yeah, exactly.
Right. I mean, and that's the thing. Like, there are so many people that don't have a house and therefore are not helping this tab on the market board. They're not even checking it out because they can't use any of this stuff in here. It blows my mind that we don't have instance housing. I don't understand it. And again, this is a thing like Summoner, right? Well, Aldianaux will spend 10 minutes ranting about Summoner. I'll talk about instance housing. Zen, is there something that you wanted to rant on for a solid 10-15 minutes?
No, I'm good for now.
Okay.
I think
we'll find something. We'll find something. Don't worry. We still got some stuff to cover.
The latest thing I can think of I complained about was probably markers, but I'm good for now.
Okay.
Yeah. I mean, and then if fellowships are mentioned, we all just kind of stare at the camera and say nothing.
Rook's not here, so we'll just fellowships.
Yeah.
She does make the best faces whenever we see them.
It's great. It's great. All right. Miscellaneous updates. Let's see. That's a typo. Whoops. A party of players will be able to join another party via the party finder. Okay. The option to specify one player per job will be added to the party finder. Okay.
Nice.
Players will be able to use the world visit system while in a cross-world party. I love this because this is something I encountered.
Friggin' sense.
Yeah.
Right? Awesome. I've been like super casually raiding with people on the weekends, and they're all not on my server. And so like we're all on on Discord talking and stuff, and they're just messing around in front of their FC house while we're waiting to go. And I'm like, I want to go visit them. And then I go over to the Aetheryte, and it's like, no, you can't do that.
Yeah.
But I'm in a party with them. No, you can't. So that's awesome. It's usually like the miscellaneous updates. It's like, yeah, okay. But this one I saw, and I'm like, heck yeah. New chapters are going to be added to New Game Plus. Obviously, it's with the patch, but also ARR is getting completely revamped, so you can actually replay ARR now. You couldn't do that before, so that'll be nice. I'm really curious to see. I'm almost tempted to go through ARR.
Right, to see
just as I'm almost tempted. Like the Titan quest is now one quest. I don't, who knows? Who knows what they've done to it?
Yeah, I actually interacted with New Game Plus for the first time recently because I wanted to redo the beginning of Shadowbringers, and you know what? It's pretty slick. I hadn't really seen all the UI elements and like how it works, and how you're in kind of not really a different instance of the world, but it's built on top of what you're doing. Like it kind of just hijacks you, and you can't do certain things, but it really just flows well. I kind of like it. I'm not going to continue very much further, but yeah, it's kinda cool.
Can I just give me? Well, I mean, I guess I could just replay the cutscene. I just want that to do the thing where you just see Amarant for the first time. If I can, I just want to loop that video for like ever, right? New token exchange vendors will be added to major cities. I don't know if these are tomes or sundries. Poetics, is it?
Yeah.
Okay.
I don't know if it's just Poetics, but the thing that I read was saying, we realized that you have to go all over hell and back to turn in your Poetics for various different things. So we're going to put Poetics vendors in major cities so that you don't have to go everywhere.
So you don't have to go to Rauger's Reach and Idleshire.
If we want to make poetic things even better, can we like somehow mark the upgrade gear NPCs on a map? Is that a thing? Like,
give them a little icon.
Like, going through and gearing up my summoner again. I still had all the gear from my red mage when I took my red mage up, right? But it's like, if you're coming into the game, you have no idea that you can even upgrade this gear, let alone where the hell to do it. Like, that's terrible. Right. Like, you gotta no. So maybe change that. Maybe future quality of life adjustment there.
Chat reminded me that they said the main cities they're putting them in are the significant cities to the expansions. So like Heaven's Word will be in Ishgard, for example.
So you still have to go to Ishgard.
But I mean, a lot of people go in there. There's crafting there.
Gives you a reason to go back to other cities.
Yeah, and
which is nice.
Questing, you probably would get through. No, you have to play through the whole story. So you'd get to Idleshire and you would see it, but that's just a weird disconnect. So yeah, it being in Ishgard would be better anyway. So
being in multiple places, theoretically, they'll leave the old ones. So being in multiple places will be nice for people who don't know where the heck to go. You know what else?
Like,
is nice
when was the last time anybody just went to Ul'dah?
Gamerskip.com. Yesterday. Fucking Blue Mage though, man.
That's the only reason.
Okay, well, right, but I mean, right, there's key reasons why you would go to certain cities. But like Limsa, you're going to Limsa because of the market board proximity to the Aetheryte. You're going to Gridania for amphitheater roleplay. I don't know.
The summoner quest.
My house.
That was the last time I went.
Your house, okay. Well, see, you don't need to go to Gridania proper for that. You just go to your house.
Holiday
events.
I am such a penny pincher. Let me tell you, I'm such a penny pincher. I returned to Gridania because it's free, and then use the Aetheryte to go to my house.
It's 100%.
It's like 50 gil. Like
it's not gonna. This
and
is
that
not
50 gil. That 50 gil that I have not used 50 billion times is a lot of money.
It's true.
Okay.
Penny pincher, gil pincher.
Yeah. I don't care that much.
It depends. Like, some people do, some people don't.
Prerogative.
Oh man, I knew a lot of people that did that in WoW, and I'm like, I don't know how you survive doing that in WoW, but they did. They were literally like, even when the expansion didn't have flying, I'll walk there. Why? Because the flight point. Wait, but you have like 50 grand. Yeah. Okay, I mean, whatever.
Right.
How do you think I got this 50 grand?
Yeah, exactly.
I didn't spend that money.
Years of just returning to Gridania.
It makes you have to make less money, basically, to have more money. Yeah.
I mean, it depends. It all depends on how you play the game. Like, I don't actively do things for the purpose of making money.
Yeah.
Right. I just happen to do stuff and I sell things and I get money and I'm fine with that. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
So. But if you want to squeeze, gotta squeeze every penny.
I squeeze them into the housing jar and then I buy
exactly.
There you go.
Especially on a server where all the houses are taken anyway, and you may have to pay more than
now
you
you can
pay.
now you can buy a big house if you can find one.
Yeah, I mean every little bit helps.
Yeah. A new fashion accessories menu option will be added, which includes parasols.
Yay!
Finally,
I wonder what else is going to be in there.
Right? Like, there's got to be other things that.
What else are we going to get?
Eggy glamours?
Although
I don't.
That is a nice menu to add, because definitely the first time I went looking for the parasol button, I was like, where is this?
Right.
Yeah, it's like, okay, unlock this parasol. Where the hell? Okay.
Wait a sec.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Jumping on Google, like, how do I use this umbrella that I just got? I don't understand.
And nobody else knows because it came out that day.
Yeah.
Right? How do I use the umbrella? I don't know, but please tell me if you find out. I would like to shield myself from the rain.
The great secrets of the 14 universe. How do I use a parasol?
Oh my gosh, I have a sad story really quick.
Uh-huh.
So anybody who follows my Twitter knows that a friend of mine passed away recently from the game, and we had a memorial for them in Eastern Thailand.
Mm-hmm.
And it started to rain, and everybody already dressed in black popped out all these black parasols, and it was just a scene.
Oh, wow.
Right?
Yeah.
It was, oof.
Yeah.
Wow.
Oof.
It's cool that we have all of this, and they're making it easier to find. I mean, they probably were like, just put it in, just get it in there to this patch.
Right.
We'll fix it later, you know. It's good that they're doing it. We can poke them for it, definitely.
So it's something you don't think is going to be that significant, but then it pops up in the weirdest way, and you're just like, wow.
Wow, I'm glad we had that, you know.
Yeah.
A new sticker function is coming to G-Pose. Just when you thought they couldn't do anything more with G-Pose, now you can put stickers all over it.
Yeah, it's turning into one of those photo booths, you know.
Yeah.
And it's great. That's amazing.
I can't wait for
the
Final Fantasy 14 G-Pose wireless printer. Where it's just you just have a little thing just like right on your desk, like, and
Extra credit, audience. Anyone who gets a Game Boy printer to print out their G-Pose picture.
Goodness.
I mean, you could do it.
I still have my Game Boy printer.
Right, exactly.
I was actually going to talk about the Game Boy printer. You beat me to it.
That's what I immediately thought of.
Print it out. It's a sticker. You don't even need ink. You just put it wherever you want. Yeah.
You're printing out a picture of a sticker on top of a pretend picture.
So meta.
I love it.
So meta. I can't wait to hack the Game Boy printer to do this now. I don't have that kind of skill. I still do have, I think, a roll of paper in there though too, so I could do it.
Yeah.
I mean, sticker paper exists. You could just use a regular printer.
Yeah.
Well, no, it's what, thermal paper? Is that the?
Yeah, it's like receipt paper. So yeah, it's heat that prints it.
Okay.
Yeah.
There are companies that still make that stuff that can work in the Game Boy.
I just mean like you could do it in a regular printer.
Yeah,
since it's on a computer already.
You just need something to help interface. Does anybody happen to have the code for the Game Boy printer API that we can just use that?
My goodness.
Somewhere.
Google.
I know. It's
right. Oh my gosh.
I would love to see it.
Now I need like I need a Game Boy to USB cable now.
Wow. Thinking about the stickers, a lot of them are the little cute minion thingies. They're when I don't remember exactly where he was, but when Yoshi P was running around on his little Lalafell, he had a pet out, and it was a Gaily kitten in like a winter coat. Did you guys see that?
Yeah.
So that's probably Ishgard content. He also had a watermelon. So the watermelon is probably from our next event. And actually, let's move into that. Upcoming seasonal events. We actually they usually don't do this, so there's a lot coming. August 12th to the 26th, so right after the patch hits, we're gonna have the Moonfire Fair, which is probably where you're gonna get your watermelon minion. There was also like it's not a hula dance. I think it was more of like a Japanese dance, but there was a dance emote thing that he was doing. So you probably get that from that as well. August 19th until the release of patch 5.4. Hold on to your butts because we're getting Yokai Watch. Oh yeah.
Gonna not do that again.
Gather one, gather all. And And just in case you were thinking about not doing this event, now you can get weapons for Gunbreaker, Dancer Red Mage, and Samurai, and a new what is this? Jabanian mount.
Yeah.
What is that?
It's a cat thing.
It's the cat. It's the cat.
The cat? All right.
Yeah.
It's the cat Pokemon.
Yeah. I'll have to see what the dancer weapon looks like, but I'm very likely not doing this event.
I am curious about what will be required to get some of these, because that was my problem with it. Like, you want to do a yokai thing, all right, fine, whatever, but it was the most grindy thing in the history of grindy things. Like, relics were easier. So I'm curious if they
at least less brain murdering.
Yes.
Yeah, I'll be curious to see if they change the formula up a little bit. I hope they do.
I really hope so too. And you know what? If you want to be really nice to us, let it drop from skirmishes and critical engagements too. Just saying. I'm just saying. Just let it, whatever it is. Those are kind of fates. If they're fates, just let it drop. It's fine.
Oh boy.
I mean, it's kind of weird because we were talking about serious war stuff, and then you get, the cat.
They're ghosts, though, right?
Yeah, it's true. You know what? That's true.
People die in war.
That's true.
Go into a dark place.
Poor Frank of the 4th Imperial Legion. He was 3 days from retirement, died, and now he came back as a floating cat that you can ride around the battlefield.
Sorry, Frank.
He's contributing to the war effort. He got me out to the skirmish quicker, okay?
Oof.
This collab just got so dark. August 27th to September 10th, we'll have the Rising. That's the anniversary event. And then we didn't get one this year yet, but late October to late November, we're gonna get Make It Rain. That was a thing.
I want that to coincide with Halloween because I want a Halloween in the Golden Saucer. I know that we already have other places we've done it, but man, Golden Saucer done up like Halloween would be so cool.
That would be. But we would probably have shoot, what is the 14? All Saints Wake, is that?
All Saints Wake, yeah.
I'm like, I think that's what it was called. Was that the 11th one? Yeah. I don't know. Yeah. So I would assume we would get that as well. Probably just going back into Hawk Manor for some type of shenanigans.
Yeah, most
likely. All right. So that's it for all the in-game stuff.
Remember when they turned the lights in the different cities green for Halloween?
I do.
I do not.
1.0. It was 1.0.
Yeah, I do. I remember seeing it.
I miss that. I want them to do it again. Please, Yoshi P.
Remember when you could just get a relic weapon under your bed for sleeping at the inn? They're just like, here's a relic bow.
Yeah.
Cool. Also, there's a Kamara just walking around in Old Dock. Can you go handle that? Oh.
Isn't that why that's here? Not a tooth fairy.
Yeah.
Whoa.
Back in my day. I still have all my relic Beastman currency from Hamlet.
I will neither confirm nor deny.
and I also still have my Dalamud nuts and my moon nuts.
You got to keep the moon nuts. Come on.
I got to keep that. I think I also still have a pair of like dated beige boots or something that I can't get rid of because they're dated.
They're dated.
They're like, I'll never wear them. They look hideous, but they're dated. Anyway, moving on. Fanfest update. Surprising nobody. They have decided to cancel the Japanese Fanfest that was scheduled for December. They're saying that while Europe has not been canceled yet, they're continuing to monitor the status of the pandemic. At this point, it's going to be super weird to have one in-person FanFest, I think, over whatever they're planning. They're still looking at possible dates, locations, and methods to host events for all of these. So who knows? I mean, at this point, they might just be dumbed down to a live letter, starting probably in like December for the first one. It's hard to say, but I can't imagine them doing any live FanFests before the release of this expansion.
Right.
So
what they need is a very nice fan who owns like acres and acres of land to let them do an outdoor one. Like, of course, once it's more safe to do so. That's what they need. So yes, all you farmers who play 14,
Gamers don't go outside.
Right. All you farmers who play 14, give us your fields for like 2 days. Right? That's fine. We'll build a big tent.
Just like Lollapalooza, but like Final Fantasy 14 edition. And we'll just
Yeah. Could you imagine the primals on an outdoor stage? That'd be cool. But
we'll just have people with signs make glamour, not war.
Oh my goodness.
Okay.
So, the reminder that I always do: cancel your hotel rooms.
Yes.
Yeah.
If you were cancel your hotel room for San Diego.
Mm-hmm.
And I guess maybe for Japan too, if you were planning on that.
Yes. What are not hotel rooms, but the other thing, Airbnb. A friend of mine had a very expensive Airbnb, and they were actually able to get all of their money back. Gasp!
Wow.
So really try if you have an Airbnb.
Yeah.
Maybe your host has a soul.
Yeah.
Wow. All right. So moving on. New merchandise. Wasn't expecting this.
I want this so bad. It's so expensive, but I want it.
So on stream they had the Yashulla Ring Arts figurine. We knew about that was announced last month. But we got a new one. So cool. It is a new Meister quality figure. It is Omega. It's got F, it's got H, and it's got it is also $229.99. I pre-ordered this immediately.
Is it?
Right? Because the Ultima was $250, $229.
I don't remember. I just remember not really caring about this one or the other one.
Ultima was similarly priced. I don't remember the exact amount, but it was up there as well. Yes, it is money. I will fully acknowledge this is money. This is a decent chunk of money. If you want this, do not sit on it. Get it right now, because these statues always go super quick, to the point where demand is more than exceeds what they have allotted for. They usually put out another phase or two, and once that's gone, they're gone. You'll never see them ever again. So if you want this, eat ramen for a couple weeks and pre-order it now.
My biggest problem is every time Philip's like, I want to buy a $500 Spider-Man statue. I'm like, I think that's a little much. So I can't be like, can I get a $250 statue, please?
This is half the price.
And it's got 3 things on it, right? Yeah. It's so cool. And you get an emote. I want to know what it is really bad.
I mean,
too.
they've Square's also got their Tetsuya Nomura designed Spider-Man Bring Arts figure up for pre-order. If you pre-order it now, you'll get a numbered concept art print, which was probably like a San Diego Comic-Con thing that now they're just doing online. Most likely this Omega figure was probably timed for FanFest. It is releasing in January. So and again, if obviously, like I joked earlier, please eat, make sure to eat. But if you do want one of these figures, budget accordingly and get it ASAP. Get your order.
The Spider-Man I just looked up. Yeah, that's a comparable price ish.
There you go.
Right. It sucks because I want the Captain America really bad, but the Spider-Man also looks sick as hell. Like it looks
really
so cool. It's got the Iron Spider arms. Anyway,
Fusion, since you've ordered it, usually pre-orders don't even charge you right away either.
No, they don't.
So there still is that. So you can, and through the store, you can choose when it charges you. So like anytime between now and January that you have the actual.
Yeah, I think you can force it now, but then they'll send you an email. I just got billed for my Avengers Collector's Edition.
Right.
Because beta's starting up for that soon. Oh my god.
Yep. Hey, I'll stream it with you if you want. I'm in it. So.
Oh heck yeah, let's go. So yeah, like they'll notify you before they charge. So they'll be like, hey, just a heads up, like we're going to bill you, so please make sure your stuff is in order. So yeah, you won't have to pay for it right now.
So is weird about bounce backs too. So when they do finally say, hey, we're gonna charge you, make sure you have the money in there.
Yeah. So I mean, and again, it's one of those things. Yes, it's super expensive, but if you want one, do not delay, or you'll regret it forever.
Stop it.
Just do it. Just do it.
It's weird.
Why do you always give me bad advice?
I do this with a friend of mine too. We always joke about how we're really good at spending each other's money.
I have no desire for it because I didn't get to beat this raid because work was so busy during that time that I never got to do Omega MNF, and it doesn't have that emotional weight, you know. So, it's beautiful, but I don't think that I'll be getting it.
I like it.
Yeah.
See, my problem is I already have all the other ones, so then I therefore need this one. Right,
exactly.
that's my thing. I can't stop now.
I only got the ones that were really like kind of significant to me. I kind of regret not getting the Shiva one. Expensive, but I have the Odin one.
Yeah.
And I really want this.
Yeah.
I was thinking about the Ultima one because Tactics, but it wasn't Tactics Ultima.
It was beautiful.
It was beautiful, yes. But
it's really nice. I don't know.
Yeah.
No, you're getting the reflection. It's there though. If you can somehow not see the giant light I have, but
yeah. All they would have to do is like put it under the tactic, like the title was Final Fantasy Tactics Ultima figure, and I'd be like, "Yep, I'm gonna give you money for Tactics." I don't know why that's the way my brain works.
See,
but yeah,
see, for me, it just says Final Fantasy 14, and I'm like, I'm in.
Yeah,
so
yeah, I get that.
Yeah, so yeah, definitely get your pre-order in if you. I don't know. Let me click on this. Let me see if they're even still available. They are still available. They probably haven't started making them yet. So
yes.
Yeah, if you want it, Zen.
Stop.
I bet Phil would let you pick it up if you wanted it. I think he'd probably do that.
But
throw a
let me spend money. I'm like, no.
Throw a Tetsuya Nomura design Spider-Man Bring Arts figure into the cart too.
Exactly.
And
I'm gonna, if I get this, I'm gonna do that.
Yeah.
I
mean, that makes sense.
Philip's birthday is very soon.
I'm waiting for like Philip to just like pop out from like the corner over there, be like, "What?"
I know everything you're talking about because I'm listening on Twitch. You know.
Oh my gosh!
Oh no!
Philip, if you can hear me, wave.
Oh, nothing.
There's a delay. Give him a minute.
You're right.
Okay, I don't think he's listening.
Yeah. This has got a good poker face. Trust me, I know.
Yeah. So in
got new headphones
addition,
and they're really
Yeah.
He's leaning. They can't see you on the camera.
It's funny because it's cropped a little bit more on the actual stream. So like we just had it just a little bit. Hi, Phil.
Great.
No.
This is one of those things. Like once we get enough subs, I think we need a Phil emote. Like that's.
Yeah, I think so too.
There we go.
Actually, he's so sweet. He told me the other day he subscribed and has started tuning in so that he makes sure that he's not too loud.
That's great.
That's funny. Yeah, once we get a few emotes in, I think we'll get a Philip emote going.
Oh yeah,
that makes sense. If you want more Final Fantasy 14 merch, but maybe don't want to spend $230 and are thinking maybe like $35 or so is more my price range, we have the Pulse Final Fantasy 14 remix album coming out, which has 14 tracks on it. This is a solid track list.
It's so good.
I Am the Sea, Under the Weight, A Long Fall, Thunder Rolls, Oblivion, Unbreakable, Equilibrium, Rise, A Father's Pride, Beauty's Wicked Wiles, Sunrise, What Angel Wakes Me, Through the Maelstrom, and 'Neath Dark Waters. That is a solid list.
Yeah, I even like the Titania remix. I historically hated the Titania song, but I like the remix.
Yeah, it's really, really good.
It's got Amrot, I'm in. Man. Like I also am really curious to hear Oblivion because this will be the third version of Oblivion that Soken's done, because it's Soken that's doing this. It's really cool. The track list, they actually have the composer and the arranger listed for all these tracks. The website is up for this as well. There is a trailer if you want to check it out. It previews some of the tracks. So yeah, definitely check it out. For people that watch and people that follow me on Twitter, they know that I usually don't get this kind of stuff from the Square Enix store. It's not currently up on CD Japan from what I've seen. I do believe the Japanese Square Enix store says that first run will come with a postcard. So nothing super huge for this one. It's not like a cardboard sleeve or sign insert or something like that.
Send the postcard to Yoshi P saying, "Where's my emote?"
Wow.
Yeah, totally.
Okay.
That'll work.
I mean, if that's a thing that you really want to do, then there you go.
No, of course not.
But you could if you wanted to. And yeah, that's it. That's the live letter. So lots of stuff coming up. I'm excited.
Finally, we are being fed after the drought, after the content drought, after, not hearing things for a little while longer than we're expected.
Yeah.
It's weird because as an MMO player, like no other MMOs really traditionally gave you this much information. So it's like, it's weird when we don't get it,
Mm-hmm.
It feels
understandably so, but
yeah,
it's weird when we don't get it, but we know why, Yeah. It's just so nice to be hearing about it. Yep.
Yeah. There's like the delay aside, like there's some really cool stuff in this. Like this live letter especially, like for me, it's just like, hey, you like music?
Mm-hmm.
Here you go, and it just shoves it right in your face, and it's just like, yes. Like there's the remix album, there's that vocal track in the like, oh my gosh, I can't wait. I cannot freaking wait.
It's the main story, and what the heck is happening to Norvrent? Like, I really need to know. I absolutely need to know right now. So that's got me super excited.
Yeah. Lots of cool stuff. Is there anything else that we can think of that we need to cover? Was there a 10-minute rant? We talked about the statue a little bit. I mean, maybe that was your moment.
At least for right now.
I feel like I got my ranting out last week pretty solidly.
Oh yeah.
Okay. Oh gosh.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yep.
Okay. That was a good one.
All right. Well, then
go watch that one.
Yeah. That is going to do it for us this week. If you want, you can contact us, aetheryteradio@gamerescape.com. You can reach us at Aetheryte Radio on Twitter. You can also hit us up on Discord, discord.gg/gamerescape. We have an Aetheryte Radio channel there that you can tune into and chat with us about the show. We're also at Twitter and Facebook at Gamerescape. Thank you, everybody, for tuning in this week, and we will see you all next time.
Goodbye.
Goodbye.